So, welcome to Dune the Awakening, the character creator slash benchmark. I'm going to run it on one of my older machines. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. It's kind of funny. I remember when I was younger that Dune, the RTS that came out, it was on PlayStation and Sega, uh, the old cartridge version of it, that I used to play all the time. I really miss those games. Saw this was coming out, decided to check it out, as I played other Funcom games like Conan Exiles and whatnot. I have the other Dune games. There's a bunch of other Dune related RTS style games that came out. There's one that's out for the PC now that I don't know. It just doesn't have the same feel as the original one. The original one always got me with the silos needed whenever you either had too much spice that you couldn't sell, or you had so much spice that the game couldn't drop any more on you. So from the collectors that you had, so you had to build more silos all the time to keep the game running. This is a little different. It's a technically third person with a little bit of first person involved, uh, MMO style, sort of RPG. And the reason why I say sort of is the MMO part is kind of iffy in my opinion. It's based off of the Dune franchise, but it's in a world where Mordeeb didn't really exist. So you're basically going out and being sent out to look for him. You find it covers it really well during the character creation portion of this, which is at the end, and you'll see, which is kind of a disappointment and kind of not. They have a bunch of options that, although make sense, don't make a lot of sense for the game itself, if that makes any sense, for the world. I mean, they make sense for a modern audience, but they don't make sense for the game, if that makes any sense. I don't know how to put it. Anyway, in the benchmark here, this is supposed to be a player-built structure, and I have more problems with this player-built structure than I do with the in-game dev-built items. I'm guessing it has to do with uh, pixel count, block count, whatever. It's a nice looking building, and don't get me wrong, this is what I'd probably wind up building, but on this machine, I have more issues in this area, according to the benchmark, than I do in any other area of the game, which, I mean, it does give you a couple different areas in the benchmarking. It's kind of weird, because in Unreal Engine 5 is what the Fortnite is currently being used in, and I think Conan is Unreal Engine 4, and I don't know. It's not a bad game design. It's not a bad layout. I tried, by the way, the reason why this video may be slightly out of sync with what I'm saying is because I tried to upload this with the audio intact from the game, from the, I guess technically preview that I'm using, and the audio got jacked up for some reason, just totally horrendously bad during processing. And I don't know if it's because of the game or if it's because of the software that I use, so I'm now using a voice recorder and going back over it and stripping the audio out and replacing it with my own. I also am taking out the music because I don't want to risk getting a copyright strike for music that I don't own. Not that I think that I would get one, but I don't honestly know one way or the other if I would or not, given the way the game companies have been. My son recently got a copyright strike for a Minecraft video that he posted using Minecraft music because apparently Warner Brothers copyrighted Minecraft music for the Minecraft movie that they put out with Jack Black, which makes no sense given they don't own the rights to the music, or they shouldn't own the rights to the music in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, it's just crazy, to be honest. This is the hub city where you start off at. I have a feeling it's where everybody's going to start off at in the world space. So you'll be able to find and deal with all of the necessary items in the game. It's also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, where you'll be able to buy blueprints from vendors and schematics and things like that to make your ornithopters and your mining vehicles and your weapons and your house and all that kind of stuff. The sandworm stuff here, this is supposed to be, it's in the benchmark as in-game footage. So that means you're going to actually see one of those things pop like that at some point, which is kind of terrifying from a player's point of view. Here's the stats on my computer. It's not doing too bad. It's not doing too great. But with a 2070, which the reason why I'm running it on this is I figured this is probably the oldest hardware you should try and attempt this with. It's not doing bad, honestly. It looks like it's pretty good compared to what I thought it would be. But then again, the 1080 just recently died as a mainstay card because of requirements for modern games finally surpassing it. I mean, that should tell you how long it's been. Because, I mean, 1080's been around forever, and there are bunches of old games that you can play. This is the Frame Blade. You get this as a free item for going ahead and doing the benchmark and building a character. If you download this in the game, if you plan on playing it, you might as well take it because it's a free item. Now let's go ahead and move right along back to the character creator, and we'll go through that. Funny thing is, there's a physical aspect and a mental aspect to your character. Basically, you're building the backstory for your character, what your character can do. And you're doing that by talking to this sister that's ahead of you. And this whole thing of you being a prisoner coming in to see her and her deciding your fate from the Reverend Mother is kind of like reminiscent of, uh, well, to be honest, most Bethesda games. You have a choice between a male and female version of every ethnicity that they offer in the game, which I'm not exactly sure why they did this way, but I mean, it's pre-generated characters. It makes it easier for people to make characters, I guess. But I'm kind of surprised in the way that they've done this because they've added like arm thickness and height makes sense, leg thickness, chest size, skin tones, vitiligo. They actually have a vitiligo slide bar in here, which is like a condition that affects like 1% of people in the world, as far as I know. And you have a vitiligo strength, and you have freckle density. I mean, if you're going to use skin conditions, I mean, you might as well go ahead and throw in some others. There's a few others they could throw in too. I just think it's kind of odd that they picked those particular three. Usually freckles would be under like, actually I think most games put them under tattoos or body modifications, which I'm surprised isn't an option in here, that you don't have body modifications like piercings or that kind of stuff. The tattoos and skin tones are all kind of, the skin tones are kind of blasé. The tattoos are kind of weird. It's like they didn't learn anything from the Conan Exiles that they did. They didn't like process any of that over into this game, or they haven't yet in the character creation thing. They may do like they did in Conan, in all honesty, and go through and change or have it set up to where you can just buy download packs of different options for your character and different things that you can do to your character. I honestly think that's probably what they're going to do, because they have a very limited amount of hairstyles, beard styles, eye modifications, makeups, tattoos, general stuff that you'd think that would be more important in a modern RPG. I mean, granted, you can sculpt someone's face and make someone look pretty much like what you want, but you still have the engine difficulties that they've got with hair physics and physics in general, where the hair is not quite mapped to the size of the skull properly. And that's kind of on them to fix. I mean, there's a bunch of mods for Conan Exiles that already fix this issue and improve character dynamics. Adds tattoos, adds clan markings, adds different, different things. There's a lot of examples for them to use. Let's put it that way, to improve their own game. But I just find it kind of odd that they didn't incorporate any of that into this. Um, so anyway, it looks like it's going to be a fun game, or it has potential to be one. As with any new game that launches, make sure you take it with a grain of salt and be wary of spending your money until they've earned it. In other words, don't make those day one purchases of crazy stuff unless you absolutely are sure you're going to play this for a while. I have a prime example would be Path of Exiles. I would highly recommend playing that as a game, and the in-game purchases will stay with your character, your account forever. So keep that in mind. Um, anyway, it's been a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm going to end this now since you basically got a decent overview of the character creator. The things at the end of the character creator are questions that are asked by the Reverend Mother to finalize your character's build, like if you're going to be a soldier, or if you're going to be a mentat, that kind of stuff. Um, I honestly think that if you're going to do it, check it out, look into it. There's a lot of options available, a lot of things you can do with the character creator. The characters don't look bad. It's Unreal Engine 5. They shouldn't look bad at all. Um, if anything, they should probably look a little better than they do here. But that's just a personal opinion. Check it out yourself and see what you think. You might like it. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you much. And have a good night.